Later that evening, we found a shelter to rest after being drenched by the rain. I couldn't sleep that night. I was worried about our father's whereabouts. I was restless throughout the night, but I slept on after crying. The next day, I and my siblings woke up being anxious of his whereabouts. We got up that morning, went in search of our father. We asked around the neighborhood, but no one seems to know his whereabouts. We went far from our neighborhood, walking for so long, and decided to have a rest. We stopped at a shop where an old man is seated, carrying a radio close to him. We all paid attention to what the newscaster was saying, and the newscaster called our father's name. We all paid more attention also to what the newscaster was saying, and then they described him and his occupation, also confirming him to be dead. At this point, we were dumbfounded, but later accepted our fate of being helpless orphans, just like our parents. My late mom was the only child of her parents. Likewise, my dad, he is also the only son of his parents. At this point, begging was not even an option because there are so many fake beggars that uses people money against them. So many people stopped giving money to beggars because they were afraid of dying of their own good. We had no choice than to walk about on the street. One day, me and my siblings were walking like a lost sheep. I carried our bag of clothes walking when my little sister saw money on the floor. She picked it and showed it to me. Me finding that the amount was 2,500 naira. I took the money and bought food worth 500 naira to feed us. But later, I had an idea of what people were saying. So many people had said so much of Ibuza, another town of being so busy to sell and hawk. Later that evening, I and my siblings left for the car park. We traveled to Ibuza with the sum of 300 naira. We got there in a place called Imidi. It was a lively place and a busy area also. Later that evening, I and my siblings searched for shelter. We saw an uncompleted building, but wrote and decided to stay inside and believed to stay more days there because the building had a write-up like stop work. Then I knew it's a land dragging issue. We slept there that evening. The next day, I got up that morning, woke my siblings up and told them to stay inside for me to go out. Went out that morning and I saw some kids that I was even older than selling sachet water, known to be pure water in Nigeria. I walked up to one of them and asked how much is a bag of pure water. She told me the amount was 18 naira. After calculating and doing my research, I found out that I can make up to 120 naira per bag. So I started work that day. And at the end of sales, I realized that I made up to 920 naira as gain for my sales. So I continued selling pure water and other carbonated water also, like Coca-Cola. I sold pure water and drinks for like a year to feed my family. During this year that I was selling pure water, I noticed that most underage girls were dressed half naked and they were buying drinks from me. I was curious of how they got the money to buy such expensive phone worth millions. I've always wanted to ask them, but anytime I want to do so, I was so ashamed of myself because they may insult me because of my poor background. Until a day came, one of them walked up to me and asked me why I was selling sachet water. I told her all she needed to know about me and my family. So I asked her name. She told me her name is Precious. I further asked her about her class. She laughed with a wide mouth and said she isn't in school. Then I asked again, does that mean you're done with school? She laughed again and told me that she's just done with her junior WAEC examinations. So I further tried to ask her what she does and why she's dressed half naked. The only thing I heard from her next is that I will need her later. So she gave me her phone number in my little phone I was using. Now I have the numbers I signed. Enjoying my heart, feeling like a big girl.